This is an intro song because I don't have an intro song. This is my intro song. This is an intro song. Yes, it is. And I'm gonna keep on doing it till I stop, which is gonna be about now. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the stream where we've got something a little bit interesting to talk about because the majority of conversation recently has surrounded the player moves that Leeds United are making, has surrounded the fact that Leeds are looking at attacking options and will have James Trafford in relatively shortly. But some of the most important stuff in the world of football can be the various movements and actions that happen behind the scenes, in the back rooms, all this kind of stuff. And we've had another little bit of that with a bit of news that came out of Adam Schefter today. Adam Schefter being ESPN's senior NFL insider, who has a podcast and everything, and apparently 11.7 million followers, which is an absolutely insane number of people. But he has had a little something to say on Paraag Marathe, what is going on with his job role, the general direction that he will be going in going forward in terms of his job, and ultimately what this means. So, just to hop over to this bit of news, there we go. After 25 years with the 49ers, Paraag Marathe is departing the organisation to focus full-time on Leeds United and Rangers as well as other sports efforts, league sources have told ESPN. This is a very, very, very big update, right? And I know a lot of people, such as Silly, because Silly is having some spectacular takes in the chat. If you're in the chat, I recommend you give them a read because they are mind-boggling at points. But this is, I would argue, one of the more important bits of news that we are going to get for a little while. The move was in the works for a little while now, but it's formalised today per sources. Is there anything afterwards? There is. Let's have a little bit of a look at this, and hopefully it's not got too many adverts, and it doesn't take us to the wrong side of the page, which it has done. He spent 25 years with the 49ers, with an influential figure inside the football operation, leading strategy, salary cap operations, played a role in the development of the stadium, which we know is a very important thing because, you know, we're having our own stadium developed, which is pretty damn important. Widely respected across the NFL, forefront of financial front office ideas, etc., etc., etc. 49ers invest in both soccer clubs and remain involved as Marathe now shifts his focus there entirely, which is good. It means that we're not going to be going through a season with Paraag Marathe sort of distracted by the fact that from, I think, like September to January, February is NFL season, and there is very little else to sort of pay attention to because he now no longer has that job. And normally when people lose their jobs, I'd be like, oh, that's not a fun thing. Hope you get back on your feet soon. But for Paraag to effectively sort of chuck away the NFL side of himself and focus purely on the Leeds and the Rangers stuff is pretty damn nice, in my opinion. It means that we're going to get the full unbridled attention, and if you have a look at the sort of track record of Paraag Marathe at Leeds United, it is ridiculously strong. So he came in full control terms the season that Leeds United were relegated. Radrizzani owned the club up until that point, held the stadium hostage in a weird financial situation as well, which was insane. But eventually, ownership fully transferred to the 49ers, which was very, very, very big. Then, from that point onwards, Marathe is effectively the chairman in sole control, and at that point, the transformation started to happen. We ended up evolving the squad over, I would say, 2 years before it was effectively just a 49ers bought squad, so I'd say 2 years ago you're probably looking at the majority of players were signed under the 49ers reign, which is very significant because it sort of shows the influence that they have had over the squad. And if you look at it right now, there is very, very little that was here from the season that we got relegated. In fact, we'll have a very quick look and take a look at which specific players were actually here when we went down, because I think that's going to be quite interesting. But it's beyond just the sort of making the squad their own kind of thing. There's a significant amount of sort of the backroom development. Like the Red Bull deal, for example, is colossal. It's the sort of deal that no one manages to get in, at that point, the Championship. It was the most lucrative deal in Championship history, which was frankly obscene, the amount of money that we earned from that one. And yeah, there was a little bit of an ownership stake involved, but you know what? That's going to happen sometimes. That's how commercial deals work. And we're now one of the most commercially viable clubs in the country. if you have a look at what the squad looked like when we got relegated, I've brought up that page now, the only players that have continued over from that point and are now still a part of the squad are Brendan Aronson, which, fair enough, he played a lot of football that season. Willie Nonto, again, played a decent amount of football that season. Outside of that, Dan James, but he played like 198 minutes. Gelhardt, technically. Joseph, technically, but they weren't sort of significant roles there. It's all become basically a complete transformation within the last 3 or 4 years, which you have a look at the 49ers and you say, you know what, good job. They've turned us from a side that got deservedly relegated very, very firmly with a manager that was kind of embarrassing, replaced by a manager that was also embarrassing, replaced by another manager that was also embarrassing, replaced by Big Sam, which is a horrible situation for Leeds United to be in, and with a good manager hire and good recruitment and good backroom hires as well. I know a lot of people like shouting the word Blunderwood like it's a hilarious pun that they've thought of, but at the end of the day, as directors of football go, he has built an excellent squad at the moment, and getting a recently promoted side up to 14th in the Premier League is not an easy feat, and we managed it, which was fantastic, and I'm very, very happy with it. So I think that was with Paraag's sort of attention split in two different directions, to have all of his attention on the footballing side, and yeah, there'll be a little bit in the general direction of Rangers, but he's not, I believe, the chairman there. Instead, he just sort of has a bit of a role in the 49ers, who are part of a larger consortium. It's not a situation where we can expect him to be distracted anymore. It's a situation where we can expect him to go, right, okay, all the attention is on Leeds United and how Leeds United are going to grow and develop, and I'm very, very happy with that, to be honest with you. The fact that we are constantly looking for ways to improve, ways to evolve, and ways to end up in the situation that we need to be in, which is being comfy and happy and healthy, high up in the Premier League, ultimately where we belong. Thank you very much, All Boxed Up. Hold on, I'll do the thing.
Big up, Joe.
The Welshman has spoken. Thank you very much, All Boxed Up. But yeah, it's genuinely brilliant that we will have now a chairman that is purely focused on Leeds United, which is something that's fairly rare, because Radrazani at the same time focused very heavily on 11 Sports, sort of developing that business and putting it in the right kind of direction to eventually get sold off, which it did, and he made a bit of a profit out of that, but that's still splitting his attention. Radrazani was never 100% focused, which I think is something that we get now from Paraag Marathe. A little additional bit of news whilst it's in my head. Leeds are going to make about £3 million from a sale that we'd already made, because Charlie Cresswell looks like he's going to go to Rennes, which is a decent move for him, I guess. He's climbing up the French football pyramid. I would have thought he would have maybe gone somewhere else, because he sort of screams lower-end Premier League centre-back at this point, but good for him, and good for him for fulfilling our coffers as well, which is absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much, Charlie, for playing well since we got rid. I'm still going to stand by the way, because this is always a conversation that kicks in. I'm always going to stand by the fact that at the time, letting Charlie Cresswell go was the right move, because at that point he was our fourth choice centre-back, didn't look like he was breaking through, and was making a lot of agitated noises behind the scenes. At that point, get rid for what money that you can, especially if you want to include a sell-on clause, because that just increases the value of the move, and I think we've benefited very, very significantly from it. I think we've done well out of the move, but that's pretty nice. Right, anyway, let's have a quick look at what's been discussed in the chat. We've got Silly saying silly things. We knew that was going to happen anyway. It's a result of the investment, bigger risk, more focus. It's a statement of seriousness. It is, yeah, and it sort of shows that the main focus from the 49ers is getting the club to a very, very healthy, positive position. Because a lot of people, again, and I've said this many a time, but I'm going to keep on saying it because it's a thing that frustrates me when people say it. Whenever they do the whole, they're just there to asset strip kind of thing. Like the first 2 seasons when they were at the club, when they were like, they've sold Rutter, that's more assets being stripped, and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, no, because they've also invested a hell of a lot of money to keep the club afloat throughout those periods, make sure that we had a squad in that first season, and effectively stopped us being a bin fire and then proceeded to throw even more money in. The only way that the 49ers make a profit, as I have said before and I will say again, is by increasing the value of the asset that is Leeds United. And the only way that they do that is improving the quality of players that we've got, improving our position, including our infrastructure, and eventually pointing us in the right direction to be a little bit more happy and healthy as a football club. Anyway, let's have another quick look through the comments. We'll probably get sold to Red Bull, hopefully not. I don't think we'll... No, I don't... Nothing has screamed out that we'll be permanently sold to Red Bull. I think a lot of people saw that there was a potential ownership stake involved in the sponsorship thing, but at the same time, you could argue that we're going to get bought out by Larry Nance Jr. There are a lot of stakeholders because Leeds United is a very big, very complex financial asset. And obviously the sort of complexity and weight of that is going to be spread amongst a lot of different people. I don't personally have a problem with that because it makes sure that the club have enough cash, because it's very, very hard to have enough cash as a football club. But yeah, I don't see that being the issue that a lot of people think it will be, to be honest with you. The aim was to get Brandt due to the fact he was on a free and a quality player. If Leeds were to bring in an alternative, they have to splash the cash, and do they have deep enough pockets to do that? We've got deep pockets. Out of all the clubs that benefit from the change to the financial rules, we benefit fairly significantly. So this is because when it comes to Premier League revenue, let's just see if I can find Premier League revenues. Premier League finances, maybe? Capology might be about to let me down. Shut up. Well, that might be the value of the teams, which I think is a mistake from me. Revenue in 23-24. Yeah, that's sort of annoying because the issue is we've not seen last season's finances from Leeds yet. But this is a revenue table from 24-25. Let's just pull that one up on monitor number 2. The biggest ones, you've got Liverpool on 702 million, Man City on 694, 690 is Arsenal, 667 is Man United, then it is Spurs, then Chelsea, etc, 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 etc. So, if I just quickly search Leeds United accounts. The most recent will be 24-25. But we'll also consider that we will have made a significant amount more because of the TV revenue being about £100 million more. Leeds United's 24-25 financial accounts revealed a record championship turnover of £137 million, which is colossal, which in itself would put us above Burnley and Luton when they were in the Premier League. However, you add, and I'm going to stab in the dark this, because it could very well be more than this, because there's also sponsorships and stuff like that. Hold on, I want to... Sod it, I'm going to challenge an AI here and see what it thinks. But I would estimate that we were making more than West Ham were in this season, which puts us very, very high up in terms of the revenue. And the more revenue you've got, the more you're able to spend, because you're able to spend as a proportion of your revenue, which is quite good to us. Who's paying Paraag's salary? I assume us, but I assume we already kind of were, but I guess not us, because it'd be the 49ers ownership group that are paying it. So he doesn't work on the 49ers side of things. He doesn't work in American football anymore. He works in football. But he'll still be paid by the 49ers because they are still ultimately the owners of the club. Plus, let's be honest, he probably never needs to earn a wage in his life from now on. Please estimate Leeds United's revenue in the... We'll go 25-26. 25-26 football season. And I want to see if it comes up with some absolute pish, but we'll find out. Why didn't they send Cresswell on loan? Because I think there was a little bit of a fallout between Cresswell and Farker. And it will have hit the point that there's no point sending him out on loan because you're only realistically just going to bench him again in like 6 months' time. The approximation that it's come back with is between 220 and 235 million. So effectively, yeah, we are either slightly above or slightly below West Ham, which is quite interesting. I think our commercial revenue would have definitely grown somewhat, so I don't think it's accounted for that. But big revenue is basically it. Paraag trying to make deals at 3 p.m. San Francisco time, not really working. What? Answer me this: how much of partners Red Bull been to us? Can't remember how much they've put into the club. I mean, a hell of a lot of money for one. Decent exposure stuff as well is fairly significant. How much do we actually get from Red Bull? Not much. Again, I'm relying on Gemini, which can be an idiot. But this stuff isn't hugely publicly available, at least not that I've seen. So. Oh, thank you, Stevens Bot. There we go. With a squad cost ratio, we can do another 2 players in and around 30 million. After that, need to be careful. I don't know if it is that slim, to be honest with you. It's a little bit, I don't know, difficult. Industry reports estimate the total package value at around £75 million. So that won't be a single season, though. That'll be annually. Roughly 10 to 15 million pounds per year, which is pretty damn big. That is a very, very significant amount of cash. You'd have to subtract the money we got for EFL TV money. That's true, but I know that PL money is about 100 million more than the EFL, because the EFL is low. It is horrible. I say it's low. I wouldn't mind that much money. If Leeds United want to donate it to me, that'd be appreciated. But it's not much. Leeds been looking at other players other than Charles and Brandt. We have indeed, which is quite nice. Schultz in, very good player. I wouldn't mind Schultz. He seems like a very, very good footballer, and the sort of shame is you don't tend to get transfer news over a weekend because we tend to be relatively normal and let people have weekends, which is good. I've seen a lot of people complain like, why aren't we just focusing on getting things done? You know why we're not getting things done? So people can have a day off, and I am completely fine with that. But it means that we've not had any huge progress. I have heard some word that there is a booked-in medical for James Trafford now. Unconfirmed quite heavily, and I'm not going to go with it because it feels like it'd be a little bit of a risk until there's more sources backing that one up. But it looks like it's on the cards, at the very least, which we already kind of knew. When buying players, it's like buying car insurance. Lots of insurers buy a small part to make the deal happen. This is the way we buy players. That's why deals take longer. I'm not sure I get you, but fair enough. Leeds revenue figure. Wait, was that 24-25? I don't know. Leeds revenue figures for 26 will be released in March. What the club have to do is give an estimate to the league. Leeds revenue in the Championship was 10th highest in the country, only the Big Six. Yes, so the amount of money that we earn as a club is frankly obscene. And the fact that it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger is very nice. It makes me feel quite happy, because it means that we're able to compete on that front. Like, I know it's going to be impossible to compete on a equivalent financial level with the top 6 sides that have a tendency to be in European positions because their revenue is so colossal. But it's going to have to be a case of crawling our way through and eventually getting there, I think. I don't know. MLS was trying to make Paraag their CEO. I did see that. I'm assuming this change in rules to prevent that and also give Paraag a few more dollars. I don't even know if it'll be a few more dollars. I think, if anything, he might be losing out on dollars because he's not doing his NFL work. He'll probably still be earning approximately the same amount, I would guess. But yeah, it's a big switch up. It means that we now have someone that is 100% focused, which is very, very nice. I need to get a striker sorted next time sticking. Time's alright, we got a month. I'm not the most concerned. I'll be honest, if we went into the season with this squad plus Trafford, I wouldn't mind it in the slightest, and we're going to get more anyway. So there is no such fear around these parts. Schultz is definitely leaving Lyon. Leeds, Spurs, Forest and Villa interested. Well, hopefully it's this one that he goes to. Because they're able to spend stupid money more than they are normally. No, that's based on their revenue. Their revenue is frankly ridiculous, partially because of European football, but also because they've had the opportunity to increase their sort of branding and sponsorships and stuff, because they were the biggest sides at the right time. Because they were the biggest sides when the Premier League went on to Sky, which meant that visibility got bigger, which visibility getting bigger meant that they could have bigger sponsorships, and bigger sponsorships meant that they could spend more, and then the cycle sort of continued. And it put us in this very difficult position of we spent the developmental years of the Premier League in the Championship and League One. So as the league was exploding and massively improving everyone's financial footing, we got left behind a bit, so we got a lot of ground to make up. I think we will make up that ground. It's just a matter of time. We just got to get there slowly. As Danny Rumsey says as well, smash the like and subscribe. Thank you very much. But there is also overspending in the case of like City and Chelsea. That's a good point. And it's very rarely punished enough, which is deeply irritating. But it's not really something that we can help, which annoys me a little bit. But it is what it is. There's nothing that you can particularly do about it because that's how things work. In terms of updates on other moves, there hasn't really been much today. The only thing that I've particularly seen is, as mentioned, the potential move for Trafford getting the medical. But I don't want to, again, go, this is definitely happening when there's no case of it being absolutely 100% definite, certain, all this kind of stuff. Because I don't want to mislead, you know. They don't put us the top six. Yes, because they are effectively the cash cow. Because if you end up relegating one of the top six sides, then you have a side that you can't televise anymore. But it's nothing to do with FIFA, silly. FIFA have no influence over this. Maybe you could make the argument for UEFA, but maybe you could make the argument for the Premier League, but FIFA don't really link in with this conversation because they don't have any power over what the Premier League does to its teams. Oh, that's fun. According to Paul Heckinbottom, Preston North End's captain Ben Whiteman has played his last game and crossed a line. I love that Paul Heckinbottom is losing his tiny mind. It makes me so happy. I don't believe MLS were going to pick Paraag in the end anyway. I think they cut it down a little bit as opposed to anything else. Money definitely ruined football. Money's always been in football. I think it's less money ruining football and more greed ruining football because there's always going to be a bit of like money involved. You're always going to have to pay to like cover someone's wages, etc., etc. But for me, it's mainly agents and ownerships that make it worse and worse and worse and worse and lead us to the situation that we're in at the moment, which kind of sucks. I wish we weren't in a place where football was effectively bought and paid for by some incredibly interested parties, but that's the reality of the situation. What time kickoff is Liverpool tomorrow? I believe it's 8 p.m. But I will have a look. 9 p.m, which is interesting. Piss. I think I'm busy at 9. So I might be able to watch it in the background, but I won't be able to watch it properly, which sucks because I was looking forward to that one. In terms of the lineup that we will play with, let's be honest, Alex Cairns is playing. That's not really a question mark. It's going to be Cairns because it's not going to be anyone else. Because Perry is going to be on the way out. There is word of Perry having his medical for Torino already. So they won't want to sort of worsen that potential injury. I think we will potentially go with our starting back three. Beal wasn't available for the last one. I can maybe see it being Rodon in the middle as opposed to on the right. Justin playing out as right centre-back, which effectively means right-back from time to time. And the incredible Muhremovic out on the left, because, oh, what a guy, what a guy. I think we will go full strength, because it's Liverpool and it's a side where you can reasonably test what that strength is. So in terms of wing-backs, I'd go Bogle, I'd go Gudmundsson, obviously, because they're the starting wing-backs. Midfield is where it gets tricky. Realistically, I'd want it to be Stack Ampadu because I think if we're playing with two central midfielders, which I think we will do, then those are our two strongest options. Stack can still do progressive stuff, Ampadu can still do the defensive stuff. It varies a little bit. Then probably Wilson on the right, Okafor on the left would be ideal. Is Okafor with the squad now? Or is he still missing until later in pre-season? He didn't travel, did he? No. So Wilson and one of James or Nonto or Metcher, I don't know. Maybe Mills. I still really like Mills from what I've seen of him. Okafor back next week. Okay, thank you very much. My goal is to watch the Augsburg friendly at Elland Road as opposed to the Leipzig one, purely because it'll be the most sort of concrete idea of the team that we're going to play with. And then in the 9, it depends on Calvert-Lewin's fitness. I'd want to see Calvert-Lewin, but in the event that Calvert-Lewin isn't 100%, then obviously you can't really go with that. So instead, that would have to be a case of Lucas Metcher. But hopefully he's 100% fine, and hopefully that doesn't become an issue, and we'll be okay. In terms of what pre-season looks like after that, I can't quite remember the next match. Is it that, then... Is it Liverpool? Then next week is... I've got hiccups, for fuck's sake. Next week is Leipzig. Then in the midweek is Scum. And then after that is Augsburg. These are really bad hiccups. I might have to end faster than I was wanting to. Hello there, Hannibone. Hope you're doing well. 49ers Enterprise in a different stratosphere than us mere mortals. Their internal cogs secure business and they know what they're doing. To all intents and purposes, we're on the outside looking in. That's true. But I don't mind being on the outside of a very efficient machine watching it happen. It's like, I went for a walk on the seafront with some of my mates the other day. And they were building, I think Aronson had a knock maybe, I'm not sure. And they were building the seawall that is to protect against incoming tides and the like. And me and my friends just sat there watching the diggers and excavators bring in the rocks, placing the rocks, going back for more rocks, bring in more rocks, for like half an hour, because it was genuinely interesting. So when it comes to looking at a efficient machine from the outside, I'm down for that. That is my jam. I love efficient machines, and I'm going to keep doing it. Any chance Leeds could change to a more lucrative shirt? Right, okay. What do you mean more lucrative? Because when it comes to brands that throw money around, let's have a look. So, Red Bull sponsored sports is the way that I'll put that. Red Bull sponsors over 100 sports and 800 plus athletes. It includes having 2 teams in Formula 1, which is expensive, a MotoGP side, being Red Bull KTM, I believe, if I remember right. Yeah, because it's not Ducati. Several football sides, Leipzig, I'm just going to read off the list, Salzburg, New York Red Bulls, and Red Bull Bragantino, and also sponsoring us. Various extreme sports, various bits of cycling and the like. And also, they give, and I know that this is the number, because I have discovered that this is the number in the past, but I'm going to zoom in a touch. A lot of you won't know of this person, but I sometimes watch a streamer by the name of Ludwig. Now, Ludwig is very, very good at what he does. He's very good with sponsors. He's very good at basically his entire job. Which is interesting because he's sponsored by Red Bull. He's not only sponsored by Red Bull, but the amount to which he is sponsored by Red Bull, and Red Bull would be about 50% of the amount of money that he takes in, I believe. Right, where are we? 1 second. That's his costs and revenue. There we go. There we go. Yeah, when it comes to the amount that sponsors pay for things, I think we massively underestimate it, because this was the amount of money that he earned in a month. from his two sponsors being AT&T and Red Bull covering about half of that, which is insane. And if you're considering that he's getting paid about $5 million a year by that estimate, you can imagine that Leeds United get a hell of a lot more. So I don't particularly know where you would find a more lucrative sponsor than that, to be honest with you. It's a hell of a lot of cash. Anyway, hang on. With the colour changing eye surgeries, I'm very confused, Sly. RB are also a minority owner. I believe the sponsorship deal is very good, and I wouldn't want to tell them they can't be the front of the shirt. The only thing I'd want to tell them is, can we change the colour on two of the shirts? Because then you'd have two shirts that look nice as opposed to one. But then again, the kits we've got from Adidas have been genuinely spectacular recently, which is very nice. Speaking of Red Bull and being lucrative, earlier I watched a Red Bull video of someone skiing down Mount Everest. He'd gone up and down there with no supplementary oxygen, crazy bit. Oh, that's genuinely scary. Would have had a different name on a shirt. Brant, but he's joined IX. Haha, very nice. Me too, Joe. It's weird that some Leeds fans seem to guess, have their own ideas that are far from what's actually going on, but put their tuppence in anyway. Suppose it calms them in some way. Yeah, I mean, I understand that if you don't have control over a thing, you can be quite scared, especially when it's the thing that you're so emotionally invested in, which football is to all of us. But at the end of the day, just go along with the ride. It's more fun and nice and less scary, and yeah. Ultimately, let's just be kind, and let's understand that Leeds are doing their best, that Paraag is doing more than his best. He's now 100% committed to the Leeds United cause, and ultimately everyone will be fine. And I'm going to end that stream right about there, because I'll be honest, I'm feeling tired. I've not got the energy to do a longer stream, and I still need to think of something to do a video on tonight, and a stream for tomorrow, so that's going to be fun. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, please pop a like on it. It's the button that's down there, and no, wait, it's the button that's over here, and then the button that's down there is subscribe, and if you could click that one too as well, that'd be absolutely spectacular. Don't think it matters what the sponsorship bring, what the sponsor, what? Don't think it matters what the sponsor brings money in. Surely the only thing that matters about a sponsor is the money they bring in. Anyway, yeah, like and subscribe and comment and all that fun kind of stuff. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all later. Toodaloo, me and me cows. And I'm going to do an outro humming bit now as well. It's going to be great. Oh, thank you, Lloyd Gittins. Anyway, see you later, everyone.